Over the past 3 months, I've been building an app. I managed to get my first subscriber, only to then lose them a few days later. So this is gonna be a video about everything I've learned in the past 3 months of building a mobile app and a product and just putting it out there. I built an app called OwnPod, which generates personalized daily podcasts. And I wanted to build something that I myself would be using. I discovered that I need to be a daily user of the thing that I'm building in order to care enough about it. If it's something that I'm going to be using once or twice a year, it's going to be very difficult for me to get back into it. And this is the point, not just for the building of the product, it's also about the marketing of the product, because simply things take time. This is my next point. You need to be able to live inside your product day in and day out, and you need to care about it. You need to be talking about it on social media, through whatever marketing content you're producing. Every day you need to tell people about your product, and this is why you need to love it, which is why I keep saying that product founder fit is super important, more than product market fit. Now, another thing I've learned, the product needs to be feasible, not just from a tech perspective, because nowadays tech is getting much easier to build, right? But some ideas are just out of scope for a single developer, both in terms of building and marketing. At one point, I was brainstorming with AIs, and they were suggesting I go into software for nuclear power plants, which is something that's completely out of my knowledge, completely out of my skill set and expertise, and it's an extremely difficult problem to solve. Now, the thing that everybody keeps talking about, product market fit. I got my first subscriber, probably through X, because I've been doing Building Public on X, and I've started producing short form content on Instagram. But the thing that I learned, because my app is kind of the intersection between two different fields, media news and podcasts. I like audio as a format, and I just didn't want to doom scroll for news on social media anymore, which is how I came up with the idea and just combined the two. But the thing is, when is the last time you've ever paid for either of the two? Nobody pays for podcasts, they're free. That's not how podcasts are monetized. And also media. Almost nobody pays for news nowadays. Some of the classic old school media, they do have their subscriptions, like the Financial Times, for example, or The Economist, but they are a very niche subscriber base. So this is why I realized quickly that in order to make my app work from a market perspective, I would need great scale of users and maybe ads and all of these things, which I don't have at the moment, which is why it will be very difficult for me to grow this by my own. And relying on something going viral is not really a good marketing strategy. Which brings me to my last point. My final lesson that I have from this whole journey for the past 3 months is thinking about distribution. Whenever I start building a product next time, and I already have a few ideas, I'm going to think about how I'm going to distribute the product before I start building. If there's an easy way to reach potential customers, it will be one of the first things I try to do. Just having a few conversations here and there and seeing if it's something that I'm going to be able to sustain over the long term. There's this thing that I heard from Alex Hormozi, impatient on the micro, impatient on the macro scale. So yes, these are my top learnings from the past 3 months. I built an app, I got my first subscriber and lost them a few days later. I don't think my app has a good enough sales prop, and it may be difficult to grow it, which is why I'm gonna be looking for a few other products to build. So more on that in future videos.